Attention Minnesota Wild fans, if you didn't see, Fanatics is unfortunately taking over the NHL jersey contracts. And the problem with that is people have gotten plenty of Fanatics jerseys that have been all messed up. One of them being the famous Spurgino spelling that someone got. It was this autographed jersey. And we thought, you know what, why not make that a bit, turn a wrong into a right, and we made a Spurgino's pizza shirt.
Spurgino, right?
Spurgino,
Okay.
yeah. It's like Spurgino. So anyways, we made Spurgino Pizzeria shirts, and they're available on our shop. If you go to 10ktakesmn.com/shop, you can find the Spurgino shirt. Find it in our pinned tweet on Twitter, or find it on any of our social channels in the link in the bio. Once again, we're only selling them till Friday, but it's an Italian version of Spurgino t-shirts, thanks to the Fanatic takeover. And you can only get those shirts on our shop for a limited time until Friday. So once again, 10ktakesmn.com/shop to get your Spurgino t-shirt. On today's episode of It's a Bit, we're joined by a good friend of the program. I'll call him an NHL legend, and he's a current analyst for Bally Sports North, covering the Wild, does the Wild on 7th podcast. It is the one and only Ryan Carter joining us. We also give our bits of the week, as always, and end the show by really kicking it back to the Wheel of Doom. We're just going to spin a wheel online, throw a ton of punishments, maybe a couple good things on there, and just see what happens. So all of that and more on It's a Bit. All right, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of It's a Bit, presented by 10,000 Takes. My name is Bossman, joined by journalist Jake and Wags. And what's going on, guys? It's really down the stretch here in sports. It's getting busy for us. We got Gophers are in the Frozen Four again. We got opening day for baseball coming up. Mm-hmm. The Wild and Wolves are both in the playoff push. And we're just trying to keep our heads on straight, but it's all good.
I think the Wolves have 6 games till playoffs, and the Wild have 3 weeks, so however many games that is. But yeah, this is our time to shine. This is our time of year.
Well, this is the time where we get our hopes up, and we're like, "Oh, a team's going to be in the playoffs.
I was just listening.
Let's go!"
And
then they
to
lose.
A video earlier today too, where this one guy was just hyping up the Minnesota Wild, saying, "Hey, I know everyone's overlooking them, but here's why they're going to make it to the conference finals this year." So now I'm all aboard the Minnesota Wild to the conference finals bandwagon.
This is like I feel like this is the Twilight Zone. This is the time of year where a lot of things are happening, and usually the Wild in the last decade have been in the position to be in the playoffs. Now the Timberwolves are in the position to be in the playoffs, and it's opening day of baseball, and it's been great. But we've seen this before, and I'm scared.
Is it bad that my expectations have sank so low that I'm just praying between the Wild and the Wolves that one of those two teams wins one playoff series?
Yeah, just one playoff series. We'd be celebrating huge.
Not
just
even
one.
like one of them makes it to the championship or even to the finals, but like one gets past the first round of the playoffs. And technically the Wolves, they're not even guaranteed a playoff spot yet, whereas the Wild, it's looking pretty good that they're going to get in. But, I mean, it is incredible how low the expectations sink and how little we require to be happy.
Dude, the NBA is crazy right now. That Western Conference, what is it, like seeds 3 through 8 are all just 2 games
within
apart?
2.5.
That is crazy. This is a great year to be an NBA fan.
I know. A lot of balance, actually.
I mean, both conferences, the West is wide open. You know, talk all the shit you want about the Western Conference in both NHL and NBA, but the West is keeping stuff interesting. It's putting asses in seats.
Who's the new point guard? Mike Connolly?
Yep, Mike Connolly. Yep.
I'm a big fan of him. He's sick.
Yep.
I'm also a big fan of a very famous quote from Ant is, they got KD, but we got Jaden McDaniels.
Yes.
Jaden McDaniels.
Dude, best defender in the league, man.
He's my guy, dude. That guy will literally just slam it over someone's head, and then he'll just remain straight-faced and, like, run down and, like, start thinking about defense.
Yep.
Like, I think 99% of NBA players, if they have a poster-type dunk, are going to do some sort of selly for the crowd, or they're going to talk shit over the guy that they just dunked on. But Jaden McDaniels is literally like right back into defense mode. It's almost like Zach Parise when he said, when I score a goal, I want to immediately go to the faceoff and keep playing, like skip the celebration.
Which is a little extreme.
But that's basically Jaden McDaniels when he has a poster dunk.
Hey, he's all business when it comes to his craft.
Well, he literally had like it's not even just like a general dunk like on Monday night's game against Sacramento. Like he had an incredible dunk. Like just almost looked like he almost elevated from the free throw line. One-handed slammed it in, like an incredible Kevin Garnett-esque dunk, and just ran down the court and like straight-faced.
Yeah.
It's like that's incredible though. Like in this day and age, especially in the NBA, like where it's very like personality-driven and personal branding, individualism, I feel like in the NBA, he just what a team guy, what a dude.
Do you remember 93X? They used to when Zach Parise played for the Minnesota Wild. Whenever the playoffs would start, they'd give him a phrase to say
or
whenever
celebration.
he would score a goal. Yeah, and he'd do it. We need to do that for whenever McDaniels hits a dunk.
I know. To give him a little bit of personality after the dunk.
Exactly.
He's the kind of guy where he's a blank slate, and we can maybe make that work.
Yeah,
it'd be kind of dope because there's only gonna be more dunks he's gonna do.
Him and Naz Reid. Those are two people who we can mold into bits. There's got to be something.
I fucking
around.
love him.
I love something around.
I love the bit that we're doing where whenever Naz Reid does anything, we just tweet out a picture of him. I love that
because he just mean mugs in his picture. Like it is the scariest looking photo that I've ever seen an athlete take is the one that Naz Reid has, and you just tweet out that nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
It's
and
super easy.
And he's sick too. He's actually
he's
so much fun to watch.
He's really good. And then not to like shit on Cam, he isn't here currently, but he has said I think like 5 or 6 times, I fucking love him.
Yeah.
About Naz Reid, which with good reason. He's a good player.
If Cam was here right now, he'd be so irate because we're actually talking Timberwolves.
I know,
we
right?
rarely do.
I know we rarely this in depth, I should say, but it's time. Well, who's that? Anthony Anderson.
Kyle Anderson,
the guy who looks like he's playing in slow motion.
Plays basketball in slow motion, and it's so hard to watch, but it works.
Mm-hmm.
He looks like
pretty though.
It's smooth. It looks like you're watching I don't know, like an early NBA live game that still is trying to figure out the mechanics.
It's still a little buggy.
Yeah, it's like buggy and laggy and glitchy, but they still somehow make excellent shots.
He's got one of those remotes from remember the movie Click?
Oh yeah,
here's the remote, except the button is working on the wrong person. It's working on him, whereas it should be working on the defense, and he's so quick he makes the defense look in slow motion. It's the reverse opposite. He literally all the way down from like dribbling to shooting to layups to free throws. It's all in slow motion, but it still must be fast enough to where it fucks up the other team. Or my theory is going so slow works so well because players are used to fast. And it's kind of like the slow ball in baseball.
It's like a knuckleball.
Where it's like it's going 40 miles an hour. I'm used to hitting a 90-mile-an-hour fastball.
It's so much of a change of pace of what the defenders are used to seeing that it works.
Correct.
Yes.
That's exactly what I'm saying.
It's a strategy.
Also, really quick live update in my sports betting fandom. This is shaping up to be the worst pick of my life, and I'm not even kidding you.
It's still in the first.
So I bet. And actually, you know what? Fuck Cam. We're ripping on Cam. He's not here to defend himself. That's perfect. Because I noticed on the BetStamp app, which if you don't know what that is, you can log bets and you send your buddies push notifications when you bet on something. And I saw this morning at like some outrageous time, 8:45 in the morning, that Cam just hammered Columbus Blue Jackets Rangers under 6.5. And I thought, you know what? That's a pretty odd matchup. Like I could see the Rangers winning like 3-1, 4-1. Well, it is 3-1, but there's 4:53 left in the first period. So it's safe to say that this one's fucked. Unless maybe a flood hits New York City or Madison Square Garden spontaneously combusts and they have to cancel the game midway through. But yeah, this is not looking good.
No, not in
3-1 with 4 minutes left in the
you
first
chose
period.
Under 5.5.
Oh, we chose 6.5.
Okay, at least it's 6.5.
Thank God it's 6.5.
You have a couple goal buffer there.
I would say at this point you have a 15% chance of hitting that bet, and that might be a little generous. But
yeah, that's generous.
They could shut out the rest of the game.
Who knows, man? I hope Igor goes lights out. But and the Rangers, well, they can't really bench their starters. They don't do that in hockey. So I think we might be fucked on that one. But I figured I'd just give the people a live update. Even though I said tonight that if you don't ride all my picks, I'm not inviting you to my birthday party. So it's kind of a lose-lose on that one. But let's get into our bits of the week as always. We'll start with you, journalist Jake. What do you got?
This will potentially go hand in hand with your bit a little bit, but you'll definitely be able to describe it more. But this is the too much sense bit. So I feel like this happens a lot with our company and how we run things. We're idiots, and we're for the people, we're not very smart, but that's our brand. We're stupid, we're idiots talking about sports and we're funny, we're comedians, I should say.
Yeah, of course.
We can go that far now. We can say that. But particularly like examples of it's essentially like where something makes too much sense that we're not going to do it. We have to make things harder on us. Like we went down to Iowa this past weekend to, because the Iowa Wild were gracious enough to invite us down there. We went to a couple games to see the Minnesota Wild minor league affiliate. And, we got a Airbnb just not too far from the stadium, but it wasn't in probably the best of neighborhoods, but we survived. And we were walking, when we got to the stadium the first time, we're like, there are like 2 hotels right next to the arena. We're like, well, no, that would just make too much sense to stay right next to the arena. We got to take a van, and we drove down there to the Airbnb, about 5 to 10 minutes away. We don't work that easy. That'd be too much sense. And then as Bossman will go into in his bit, we had let's just say a large van. We'll get into more specifics like I said. We had a large van for probably too large of a van for the amount of people that actually went down in the van, when in reality, we probably could have drove in one smaller vehicle to save more money. But no, that would make, again, too much sense. So there was a few instances, and this happens all the time. Right?
In 10K, yeah.
In 10K, this has been happening since the beginning of, we should have did this, but no, that would make too much sense. Or we should have got a nice computer to run our podcast on, 3 years ago, but we did that within just the last year because we had to run it on a laptop and have all these technical issues because it would make too much sense to have a nice computer. Stuff like that. That's our brand runs on. It's a too much sense bit. And it's just what happens. The Iowa Wild trip was just a recent example of it.
Yeah, dude, he's not kidding. Like, if you're waiting in line to get into the game at the Wells Fargo Center, there were 2 hotels that you could have thrown a tennis ball at.
Really? That close?
That were that close. Yeah, we take a 15-person van 10 minutes away in the absolute hood to save $1, which in reality, in hindsight, it looked like we were saving all this money by going with a cheaper Airbnb on a lesser nice side of town because we figured, hey, we're only going to be sleeping there, that whole idea. And then Voss had to go. She shouldn't have done this, by the way. She went and looked at the price of the hotel.
Oh, damn.
And I told her not to because I'm like, it's gonna make us feel like shit about let's just in our mind pretend that the hotel was like $200 a night, and it would have been just not even feasible. Mm-hmm. And turns out the hotel was relatively the same price.
I figured in Iowa it wouldn't be that expensive to get a hotel room.
It's like paying to shoot yourself in the foot.
And it's probably kind of my fault. I probably should have put some input before that trip because I did stay in one of those hotels when I went down there with my dad for the NCAA basketball tournament.
Jake, you were a returning visitor. You were supposed to be our local guide.
I was on the boat of an Airbnb to have everyone stay together, blah, blah, blah.
Right. The camaraderie.
The camaraderie aspect, but whatever. Who cares? It makes too much sense for us.
It was so funny, too, because the Airbnb that you guys stayed in looked like it came right out of the 80s.
Like 1880.
Yeah, like 1880.
Yeah, like this house has for sure been around since the Civil War, and that's not even an exaggeration. Like the basement of it.
Oh, yeah.
Think about a horror movie basement, and then think about it being 10 times worse. That's what this basement.
It could have been.
The stairs were sketchy as fuck. Like, when you walk down and all you see is concrete, is that you're in the midst of what could be a murderer's dungeon.
Yeah, there's a drain in the middle there. They're draining blood there.
There were like all these like small rooms, and there were almost like benches in them, like made out of concrete structure, and then little windows connecting the rooms. And I'm like, I'm not sure if this is a prison or a meth lab, but it's not what basements are supposed to look like.
It could have been on the set of the Blair Witch Project or something. It was that fucking sketchy. Like it was.
You would think this is a basement you'd find in an abandoned house in the middle of the woods.
Yeah,
that Buffalo Bill would own.
Exactly. And walking down the steps, they were like just wood planks, like screwed into like another wood structure.
Well, it sounds like Iowa, right?
Yeah, it was Iowa.
And also, when we say it's in the hood, let me perfectly paint a visual for you. There was a lot of boarded up windows, a lot of tarps, piles of cinder blocks that had no purpose. And I'm trying to think. Oh, like you would just randomly hear a really loud music, and then it would like go away.
Yeah, like way back.
20 minutes later, you'd hear it again, and we're like, "Oh, is someone throwing a darty?" And then it's just gone. Like I don't know. People were just playing one song at a time, but it was, West Side Des Moines, not a good area.
Still better than St. Cloud, though, right?
Yeah, probably 100%. I will. Well, I was telling people I stayed in West Des Moines, like, "Oh, that's a beautiful area." I'm like, No, I should clarify. We were in like the west side of downtown in Des Moines. I know Des Moines,
West Des Moines
suburbs.
Yes, nice. That's a nice city because we stopped there to get gas on the way back. But
not
west downtown Des Moines.
We were like west side, west of Des Moines, of downtown.
I was trying to come up with a gang sign that we could all use at the Wells Fargo Arena. Like, where are you guys staying? Like, west side.
We're on west side Des Moines, and it's it was interesting, but it makes too much sense for us to, get a hotel right next to the arena.
When we were walking back on Friday, completely buckled from the bar, there was a traffic cone just sitting on the road, and I just told Jake to steal it, and he did. And we just
Iowa.
Yeah, we put it.
It's Iowa. That's
we
the
put
reason.
it. We put it in the front yard of this Airbnb, and let me just tell you, it fit right in. Yeah, it was a traffic cone that was dinged up and missing a couple chunks of it, and we threw it in the front yard, and it looked like you were hanging the star on the Christmas tree.
And so, just to clarify, it was more expensive to stay in that Airbnb than it would have just.
Not necessarily.
Okay.
I think we still saved money, but it wasn't.
It wasn't like that
much.
Let's just say upgrading to a hotel would be very manageable.
Yeah, okay.
That's why I was like, Marissa, don't check the price because it's going to be probably less than it is to stay here.
When you've already decided on something, the worst thing you can do is once you're there is to start looking at the alternatives because you're going to kill yourself mentally.
I know.
I don't even want to think of how much we would have saved if we just would have bought a normal van. So that transitions
that
me.
Transition's nice.
How much did you pay when you filled it up once?
I think it was like $120, which is the
Wow.
price of my truck. So I think we intended on more people coming on this trip, and Jake ended up having to drive separate, but was graciously willing to help pay for the van. So Marlo got a 15-seater van, and it ended up just being me, Marlo, and then Sammy Stats from our 10K Bets team. Yeah, so 3 of us in a 15-seater van, which it was kind of funny. At first, when Marlo told me he rented a van, I pictured like the Korean church van from The Office.
Yeah, like a standard van.
But it ended up being a pretty nice, there's like 4 rows of seats.
It was very nice.
And it was like for one leg of the trip, it was Marlo driving, then it was like me in the middle row, and then Sammy Stats 2 rows behind me. And then we would switch it up to like I was shotgun and Sammy was in the row behind us. And then at some point, Sam was in the way back of the van. So like we'd be talking and he'd have no idea what we were saying. And it was just a goofy situation. You can actually look up the video on like our Instagram, Twitter, Facebook. There's a video. It's just me saying, I don't know if this is a flex or a fuck up that we have a 15-seater van for 3 idiots. But yeah, man, it was just hilarious. And like I said, just going back to Jake's bit, it would make too much sense if one of us just drove our own vehicles and we just split gas. Like, let's rent a vehicle, fill it up 3 times, and pay a little more, but it's for the camaraderie.
Well, it's like not only let's rent a vehicle, let's rent like the biggest fucking vehicle we can find.
For the social aspect.
Safety.
Yeah,
it's safety.
And you get leg room too. The week before you were flying, your legs were all cramped up. I understand completely.
Everyone here gets laid so much, so we took all these chicks home each night. We needed, I had 4 with me, so I needed an entire back seat for all of them.
You're trying to bring all of the women of Iowa back to the Airbnb.
They might have been Des Moines hookers.
They were all cousins or something. No, I'm kidding.
I don't know.
Not my cousins.
Oh, okay. No,
but cousins with each other is what I'm saying. Dude, just
there's a lid for every pot.
Right. Luckily, this was like if you're making logistical mistakes that is costing you money on vacations, Iowa's a good place to screw it up. If you make logistical mistakes on like a trip to Europe or to Vegas, then you're looking at actually costing yourself a lot more. Whereas here, we're just talking like, we could have saved $20. The game is 3-2 at the end of the first. By the way,
oh god,
it's dead.
You're done.
It's dead.
How did Iowa end up doing?
So the first night, they played exactly like their counterparts, the Minnesota Wild. They had a 3-1 lead with 7 minutes left. Somehow the game ended up tied up, and they lost in OT.
Shootout.
Or in a shootout.
Be specific.
3-on-3, nothing happened. Sammy Stats was actually able to get Iowa Wild money line from whatever book he uses.
Really?
Yeah. So
he couldn't even find that in Vegas.
Yeah, no.
He had he was getting anything and everything you wanted to bet on. But the second day, you could tell their coach, I think it's Tim Army, came out pissed off about the night before, and they kicked ass. I think they won like 4-1.
Yeah,
4 to rip.
Yeah.
Yep.
Zane McIntyre got a
shutout. The return of the Mac.
There we go.
Was he? I
was gonna say he was UND, wasn't he? Yeah.
Local Grand Forks boy.
Beautiful.
Yeah, dude. Mac had a shutout. I think he had like 25 saves. Mm-hmm. Gave me a little glove wave when I yelled the return of the Mac.
How did Volstead look the first night? Or did he not play?
No, he did play.
Volstead?
Wallstead did play.
Oh, Wallstead. I just said Volstead.
Well, technically, that's how you're supposed to pronounce it.
Oh, really?
With a V,
Yeah,
Okay, that probably makes sense.
Where's
yeah.
your culture, Jake?
I don't know. It's gone now.
That's
You know,
so.
not everyone's American.
Russo was on our show and he was literally referring to him as Volstead.
That's
over
right.
and over again.
Volstead.
It sounds like the Volstead Act, like the
Volstead.
Jesper
prohibition.
Wavestad. He looked all right. Like I said, there was.
Wavestad.
Yeah.
Yeah, remember when he did the wave?
Oh, okay.
Wavestad.
Yes, there we go.
Wavestad.
It took me a second.
It was fun to see him.
It was fun
out
to
there.
see him.
And, we were in the locker room before that game, and we were like, it was almost like a shrine. We were like looking at Jesper Wallsted's locker area, like a shrine.
Dude, I got a good question for you
future.
boys.
Thought about taking his extra blocker.
You guys have seen now, because we all went to St. Paul Saints. We've been in their locker room. They're right below the Minnesota Twins. Now you've seen the Iowa Wild right below the Minnesota Wild. Who had the better locker room?
Out of those two?
Yes.
The Saints or the Iowa Wild?
I'm forgetting the Saints, but the Saints had a pretty big clubhouse.
They did.
I think it's the Saints by only a hair, though.
Okay.
Pretty similar in size.
The Iowa Wild logo on, I think, but the Saints had a big logo on their floor. didn't they?
In the middle, yeah.
Yeah,
I think, though,
Iowa
the-
Wild did too.
The Iowa Wild have a smaller locker room in terms of where they throw on their uniform, but I think the Saints the Saints had a bigger area in terms of where you get ready, but the Iowa Wild have like this massive hallway with all these other rooms and lounges and stuff.
Yeah.
So overall, system-wise, it's probably the Wild.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense.
But the room that they actually change in is probably a little smaller.
It is.
Yeah, well, I mean, a baseball team has a lot more players than than a hockey team, so that makes sense.
But they were both very nice thinking about it. But maybe the Iowa Wild does take it by a bit.
Also, the second day sat right by the tunnel, and we got to watch the Iowa Wild stick guy, which is crazy. I mean, we've all seen the clip. I think it went viral of Toronto Maple Leaf stick guy. But anytime someone has the puck, the stick guy is grabbing their stick, their replacement stick, just ready for a replacement. And actually, too, I noticed before the game, this guy was just hammering smelling salts.
Oh, you have to. You have to be so focused when you do that job, especially to do it throughout all 3 periods and not give up.
Yep.
That's crazy.
Yep.
Adderall.
I'd be addicted to smelling salts if I had that job.
And people, I brought this up numerous times, but people don't give the stick guy enough credit. If you remember I think it was Game 6 of the NHL Finals last year when Colorado was just about to win, and Pat Maroon's stick broke, and he skates over to the bench, and he starts screaming for his stick, and stick guy's flustered, fumbling the stick around, and Maroon starts throwing his gloves at him.
He's like, give me a fucking stick. That was so funny.
Yeah, so ever since I see that, though. But yeah, no, the stick guy was awesome down there, hammering smelling salts. But anyways, enough on the Iowa Wild. Zane, what's your bet?
Yeah, you guys talked about Vegas last week, so I don't want to talk too much about it, but I'm just going to do the Vegas done right bit, and this is in reference to my brother. The whole plane ride over there, he's saying, first thing I'm doing when I'm getting to the casino, I'm walking up to the table, putting 100 on black. I kind of thought he was fucking around, but the very first thing after we put our bags and shit away is that he did is he went up to a roulette table, put 100 on black, won. As soon as he did that, he said, fuck it. He put 200 on red, and then red won. So he's up $400. He immediately goes, starts buying drinks and having a great time. Well, all this winning obviously got to his head because at a certain point, he's like, I'm feeling 500 red. I'm feeling 500 red. This is a few days later. So he walks up to the table. He puts 500 on red, and it does not hit. So what he immediately does, he gets very depressed, as any of us would, right? He immediately walks to the closest convenience stores. He buys 2 tall beers and a pack of cigarettes. Keep in mind, he doesn't smoke cigarettes. He brings them all outside to the strip area, sits down outside, starts pounding the fucking beers and smoking cigarettes on the ground because he's so depressed. Donnie and his dad end up finding him and having to give Gavin a pep talk, saying, hey, it's all right, buddy, how much are you down? But I mean, that is Vegas done right. When you're done, you're done. And he was done at the end of the weekend.
Well, I have about a 5th grade math level, but I'm pretty sure, though, that was house money at that point.
I mean, it was, but so like obviously you win $400 and it's your very first night in Vegas. You're buying more drinks. You're buying people.
Yeah,
drinks.
it
disappears.
That's
quick.
gone by the end of the night.
Exactly. So at a certain point, you got negative, and you got negative fast.
And
then you're also like, I've won a few times. I can win this back, and then you start doing even bigger bets, and it's just
Hey,
it's
he
a
was.
bad path.
He was putting 100 down on blackjack.
Like
repeatedly hands. Fuck it, I'm doing it again. Yeah. No, you just lost.
We told this story on the episode last week, but he literally walked over to the roulette table to put $500 down because he said he was going to do it. And the cashier, is that what they're called? The dealer, sorry.
Yeah.
The dealer was like, I need to see an ID. And he misunderstood her. He pulls 40 more out in cash and slaps it on the table. Like, he assumed 500 was not good enough for this woman. So he puts 40 more bucks down. She goes, no, you don't get it. I need your ID. And I see him start doing the pat. Can't find my fucking wallet. It's
Oh
like,
my god.
yeah.
Second time he had lost.
That's
it that
hilarious too, because like we were talking about this earlier, but like if the dealer would just have allowed him to put that extra $40 on, like he would have done it as well. He would have put $540 on that hand.
yeah.
So that's
if she was like, "This is $1,000 minimum," he would have been like, "I'll be right back. I need to go to the ATM."
and he would have done it too. Yeah, that's hilarious.
Yeah.
Hey,
But-
that's doing. I mean, I've never ended my Vegas trip like smoking cigarettes on the ground outside because
No.
I'm so depressed. But I mean, one of us had to, and I'm glad that he got that was his first time in Vegas. That's a great Vegas experience.
Yeah, it is.
I
You got a
would
little
say
taste of
though,
it.
I would say that my experience by the end of the trip last year was in a pretty similar state when I was walking over to the Circus to pull out $100 for a cash deposit on a ship motel that I was going to rent for just 2 hours because I was so hungover I couldn't get on a flight.
We were all in rough shapes at the end of last year's trip. I remember Johansson's bank stopped letting him even withdraw money from the ATM. That's how many withdrawals he had.
Yeah, if you want to listen to our Vegas recap from last week, just go to the episode below this one. You can hear all the crazy stories. But without further ado, folks, let's get into our interview with Minnesota Wild legend and color commentator Ryan Carter.
Buddy, your game's got more holes than OJ's alibi.
Hey, it looks like you're swinging a garden hose out there.
John, you're the DH today?
Yeah.
Does that stand for doesn't have talent?
You couldn't steal home if you had a key.
John, get the bat.
With a swing like that, I feel like you should be using a 7-iron.
Hey, Mendoza called. He wants his line back.
Frig off.
I've seen better pitches at a Tupperware party.
Hey, big boy, the only plate you can find is at the dinner table.
All right, folks, welcome back to It's a Bit. We got a recurring guest, friend of the program. As I mentioned, I would call him a Minnesota Wild legend and color commentator for Bally Sports North and co-host of the Wild on 7th podcast. We have Ryan Carter. Carts, it's always great to talk to you, especially this time of year with the Wild rolling into the playoffs, almost.
Well, it's good to be here because, the Wild are always much more fun to talk about when they're playing well and winning games, and it turns out they've been pretty efficient at that lately. So, no, it's good to be here with you, dudes. Good to catch up as always. I like to see the Busch lattes out there on display. So, yeah, cheers to that, fellas. But, yeah, super stoked, man.
Well, it's a Wednesday. It's the weekend already, right? I'm pretty sure.
Well, we're recording.
It's Tuesday.
But this is released on a Wednesday.
Yeah, the episode airs Wednesday. See, I'm always thinking in terms of the people. I'm not thinking about myself.
Well,
so.
yeah,
One
he's a
step
good
ahead.
person.
Yeah, exactly. But I guess did you expect the Wild after the start of the season to be as good as they are?
No, I don't, or I can't say that I did expect them to. And actually, I was talking about this on my podcast today that there was an exhibition game where Bill Guerin came to the booth on Bally's, and I asked the question, and Bill Guerin will ask you the question back when he doesn't like the question that you asked him. So it was like, so how comfortable are you with your goaltending situation? And he goes, how comfortable are you with it? And
What the fuck?
I'm good, man.
That's the most intimidating thing.
So I think that was an issue, and everybody didn't know how that was going to play out. You know, after Talbot being traded, Gustafsson was unproven. Marc-Andre Fleury is, however great, like Father Time is undefeated, so that's always going to be a question mark. So that was that going to be the strength? No, and I don't think anybody in hockey thought that all of a sudden the Wild were going to have the best tandem from November 19th on. And if you told them that was going to be going up against Ullmark and Swayman, and the fact that Boston has been on an absolute heater the entire year, I think everybody would say, no, I'll take the under. And, I'm not betting that, whatever that might be. So I can't say that I thought the Wild would be this good. The goaltending's been good. Scoring, I did anticipate scoring maybe being an issue. Like, how are you going to backfill Kevin Fiala's production offensively? Is Hartman going to be able to put up 35 again? Are all of these guys that had career years last year going to be able to duplicate that? Easy bet is no, I don't think so. And I think that bet has come to fruition, but they've been able to play defensively so well through goaltending to where it hasn't been an issue. So long story short, no, I didn't think that they would be sitting here leading the Central and one of the best in the West. No, I didn't see it.
Well, Ryan, let's say the playoffs start tomorrow. Who would you roll with in net?
Man.
There's not really a
That's a
wrong
good-
answer, yeah.
There isn't. The Wild were in that spot last year. So, and I'm of the camp. So if I was calling the shots here, I believe that if you have two goaltenders, you really don't have one, right? And the Wild, in some regards, are proving me wrong. I think what makes it so challenging is how you manage that situation in the playoffs, because all of that pressure gets put on the coach to make the right decision. Like, was this the right time to switch the goaltender? Was this the right time to play Gustafsson, or was this the right time to play Fleury? Is the matchup better for it? And just having to have such a keen eye on the goaltending situation and managing that so much attention can be drawn to it that it can be a distraction to other parts of your game. So I just don't like the two goaltender situation for that specifically. I think you go back in history and you look at the teams that have won. It's, you've got Vasilevsky, who's your goaltender. Yeah, we know, like, it doesn't. There's no competition. Darcy Kemper in Colorado, like, who was going to be the backup to him? There wasn't one, right? So you knew who you were going to ride. If the Wild and the coaching staff can somehow manage the goaltending situation to where they have expectations set almost beforehand, where you go to each goaltender and you say, you know what, both you guys are playing. It doesn't matter if, and maybe the conversation has to start right now, where we're 8 games out. I don't care how the rest of the season goes right now. You guys have both proven to me that you're quality starters and that you can win me a playoff game. You're both going to play, and so you're getting 1, so you're getting 2, and we'll go from there. But just knowing that the base is set, you know what you're doing, and then from there we'll all be men about this and try to win a series and then hopefully a Stanley Cup. But if I was the coach right now, I just don't know how you don't put Gus in game 1 with how good he's been, and then what happens game 2. Like I said, I don't know. If I'm the coach, I say it's Fleury no matter what, even if Gus pitches a shutout, and then from there you make your choice.
I would love if it was Gus out of game 1, just so I don't have to spend all next year defending Fleury again.
Yeah.
That's what I've had to do this year, and it's been aggravating.
Well, that's all part of it why it's so hard for the coach, right? Because he has to somehow validate that decision, right? It had nothing to do with maybe how Fleury played. The team didn't play great in front of him. You blame the goaltender, then you end up having to blame the coach and that situation. And when you have an option, when there is no other option, like when it's Vasilevsky, Tampa didn't win the cup last year. It wasn't like, yeah, man, that's because they had the wrong goaltender. No, that's not a story, So that's the other part that's hard about having two, is that eventually you feel like you have to defend one of these, and it's like not a thing in my opinion. But
it turns into a whole Kirk Cousins bid.
Don't
Well,
start.
yeah, it's the same thing. I mean, but you defend with your life over one goalie. But I mean, we were talking before your fantasy hockey league, which you are in the finals. You did roll with Fleury over Philip Gustafsson technically. So maybe if you were the coach, you probably would be rolling with your fantasy starter, right?
Well, I am an elite fantasy hockey mind.
Yeah,
and
obviously.
Yes, I do have Fleury on my team. But unfortunately, I didn't have access to Gus or anybody else. Otherwise, I would have plucked him on the waivers. We have no waivers. So in our league, you draft your team at the start of the year, and then those are your guys. You can trade, but those are your guys. So I placed my bet on Fleury. And if I am selfish for fantasy hockey reasons, yes, I would love Fleury to play every game and win from here on out.
Well, and actually, now that I think about it, in our fantasy hockey league, like, anyone who got Gustafsson in probably late rounds might have gotten the best pick of the draft, because talk about a guy who no one probably had on their list of fantasy hockey goalies to draft, who ended up just being absolutely stellar. So, I mean, he's the epitome of a dark horse at this point, which is crazy.
Gus Bus.
I should know if he's eligible for the Calder. I don't think he is. I think he's had like 20. He came into the year with like maybe 30 starts, something like that, which would maybe take him out of the conversation for Calder. But you think of what he's done this year, it has been amazing. And I don't think the staff and Freddie Shabbat has been given enough credit for it.
Yeah.
He came in, new setting, didn't play great. They found a way to settle him down and then tweak a system to complement a goaltender. And he went from a number 2 goaltender to maybe even like a 2B goaltender, to all of a sudden he's 1A, maybe straight up 1 goaltender. So over the course of 70 games, to go from the situation that he was in, where giving up 7 a game early on in the season, to all of a sudden he's got like a sub-1 goals against in the last however many weeks. Like it's amazing what he's done in a short period of time and how the staff has turned him into just a very accountable and good goaltender.
I'm not giving out betting advice, but when I was in Iowa, I took a picture of this. He is plus 5,000 for Vezina right now. He was on the list at least.
He's on the list.
Yeah,
That's all that matters.
Yeah, but just gonna throw that out there.
When do they announce that? Is that before the Cup, or is that after the season?
I think they have their awards ceremony after the season.
Oh yeah,
is that
that's
right,
right,
Ryan? Do you know?
Yeah, I'm pretty sure the Vezina is at the awards ceremony after. Sometimes I feel like that might be right before the finals kickoff. They release some awards.
Yeah.
But I think the Vezina is one where they actually present it at the awards ceremony, and that's after the Cup, if I'm not mistaken.
Do you see Gustafson, I guess, signing with the team long term and being our goalie of the future? Obviously, we have Fleury, but he's pretty old. I think he's 39 right now, and then we have Volstead coming up. But what do you think about Gustafson?
Well, it's it's obviously all of a sudden a position of strength for Bill Guerin, right? Where I think everybody thinks you've got the guy in Iowa who, by all accounts, is not only the next goaltender of the Minnesota Wild, but like the next star goaltender of the NHL. If you look at the prospect rankings, he's the number 1 goaltending prospect in the world. So how do you not kind of clear the runway for a guy like that to eventually take the net, run with it, and become the best possible player he can be? So is Gustafson the guy to take that and really run with the one job and have Wallstead take it from him? I'm not sure, but I think right now, salary cap crunch, whatever it is, it's going to be tough for them to keep Gus at a comfortable price to where you can then hand off the reins to Wallstead. But at the same time, you don't want to just go ahead and give away a number 1 goaltender that's on the Vezina list. So I mean, what do you do with that? If you're the Wild, you see if you can't get him to sign a couple-year deal, knowing that, hey man, we trust this guy, he's going to be good, but we just don't know how long we'll be able to keep him, how long we'll be able to afford him, and what the trajectory of Wallstead's like. But I would say it'd be a safe bet if you could get that dude for 3 years. You keep him, if at all possible.
That's what I say. Pay the man.
Pay him. Well,
this year, right? He's a free agent after this year.
RFA, yeah.
RFA.
I think he's just a 1-year guy, right?
Yeah, he's an RFA, and I'm not a capologist, so I don't know the rules, especially for goaltenders, because it differs a little bit. But there's you get arbitration rights too, and with the numbers that he's put up this year, he all of a sudden could be looking for a hefty raise just based on what an arbitrator would rule he gets in that regard too. So I don't know. The Wild and their brass, Bill Guerin and Chris O'Hearn, those guys, they've done a great job forecasting their way and navigating their way through this kind of cap headache. So I'd imagine they have a plan going forward for that and what it might look like in terms of cost.
Yeah.
Well, I want to know about another Gus. What's the inside scoop on Gustav Nyquist now? All right, so is he going to be back before playoffs? Because I just feel like if you get him out there with like a Kirill Kaprizov, I know he probably won't be 100%, but like what we saw of the Gustav Nyquist of the past, but you get him out there with Kirill Kaprizov, with Boldy on fire. I mean, could this team be unstoppable?
Gus squared.
Yeah. That's what I said. Is it Gus or is it Goose? What does he go by?
Yeah.
Is it Gustav?
Well, yeah, because
Goose,
Gustav.
Moose.
This locker room is only big enough for one Gus, so we need to figure
He's
that
Goose. He's Gusty.
Gusty
or Nike.
But there's already Goose, so that's complicated in and of itself.
Twist. What about just Twist?
Quisty.
Quist.
Quist.
Yeah.
NyQuil.
We're going to call you NyQuil.
NyQuil.
He shuts down the other team. He puts the other team to sleep.
This guy will knock you out.
There you go. Yeah. But, I mean, let's just go through this exercise quick. Is he playing on the top line? I don't think so. Is he playing on what would be the second line right now? I don't think so. What do you want your third line makeup to be? So that's going to be Gaudreau. Marcus Foligno's likely going to come from that top line spot down to the third line. So he's going to be there. Do you want Nyquist there? Maybe. Does Nyquist fill a fourth line role? Doesn't really seem like it, but maybe a little bit. I don't know where he fits in or what it's going to look like, but I will say I do wholeheartedly believe some of Johansson's production has come because he sees Nyquist as a similar player that could play that role. So he's extremely motivated to be good, to find chemistry, and he's had the luxury of being a first mover, lineup first, and a chance to play with Boldy in that spot, and he's claimed it. And now he's played so well to the point where they're not going to split those two guys up. It doesn't seem like in any circumstance would they do that. So maybe Nyquist slides in and is an option on that third line where I could see that. Somebody like Duhaime slides down to the fourth line, and then Nyquist plays with Gaudreau and Foligno, and you have a line that you trust that's veteran, but then can also chip in that extra, quarter of a goal a game kind of thing. So over the course of a series, maybe they get you an extra goal over a guy like Duhaime or something like that, and Duhaime's shown that he can score lately too. So that's why it's a tough decision. But I think that's likely where he fits in if all things go that way. But again, I honestly don't believe that the opportunity is going to be given. The part of the reason this team's been good all year and throughout the season last year is because it's earned, not given. It's like a mantra that the club has. You can look at the D right now and how it's been a revolving door. Addison leads the NHL in rookie assists by D-men, and I think maybe even just assists, for sure power play. And he's having a hard time cracking the lineup. Like, they just don't give it to you. You got to earn it. So he'll still have to come in and be good.
Yeah, he's plus 5,000 as Calder right now, too.
How do you know all these odds?
That's lower on the picture I took.
Okay, you got it ready to go.
Yeah.
How much? Who is? Sorry, Addison?
Addison's on the list.
Oh,
even though
he's made the list.
He's played like half the games this year.
Goodness gracious.
Here you go, Jake.
That means he's a good player. But, like Cart said, you got to earn it.
Throw $10. Do the Gustafson Addison parlay plus 10,000.
I don't think it's going to hit.
$10.
Fingers crossed.
Put $10 on it. Who cares?
Hey,
Lottery.
Ryan, how much would you credit Johansson with Boldy's breakout? How much does Johansson have to do with it?
A lot, I think. I mean, so some of it is, I think Boldy, we're seeing him actually believe that he can get a puck in a scoring spot. And that's not an indictment on anybody that's played with him before. It's just he's all of a sudden looking for the scoring zones and getting the puck not just to him, but in a spot where he can do something with it quickly. So the shot's getting off quicker. It's one-timers. Look at the power play assist. And I know this is the power play that Johansson had on Boldy's goal. He put it through a seam, like a one-touch, little sauce on it, right on his tape, to where he's able to take one little step, look for a spot, hit a tiny corner up over the shoulder of the goaltender. Like he wasn't doing that before, and he wasn't getting those passes. And he all of a sudden knows and believes that he's going to get those. So he's going to the scoring areas. And I think what Boldy got caught up in doing, and it's natural for players, especially skilled players, is he'd come inside the blue line. He'd feel he has to pull up, draw people to him, and then he has to distribute the puck and try to find the guy that can score the goal, right? Now that's not the case. Johansson is driving the puck deep into the zone, to the net even at times, and Boldy's not he's not pulling up at 30 feet outside the net looking for a play. He's driving and he's finding it on his tape. So I think Johansson's had a big role in that. And I've said this a couple times now, but think about the motivating factors for Johansson. It's a contract year. He's on the back nine of his career. He's over 30. He comes from a team that was out of the playoffs to a team that's in the playoffs. You've got a guy in Boldy who, the Wild, they just gave him $49 million. They're invested in this guy, and they want to find somebody to play with him. If I can be that guy, that might be my ticket to a new deal, my ticket to, riding off into the sunset as a great NHL player. And Johansson is, I think, recognized that opportunity, seized it, and played great. I mean, think about his two stints here. This one looks much different, doesn't it?
Yeah.
And I think it's because of the fact he seized the opportunity and he's running with it.
Well, yeah, and Ryan, you do like a ton of content with the Wild. Obviously, one of the latest ones you did was you kind of did like a hot wings thing with some of the players.
Some of the Swedes.
Yeah. And you asked something that I'm really glad you asked that I don't think enough people bring up, and it's, why does everyone fuck with Joel Eriksson Ek so much? Like, he has to be doing something or saying something. And I'm guessing you did not believe him when he said, I don't do anything out there to do it. Like, I didn't believe that for a second, because I swear to God, in every scrum after a whistle, someone's always grabbing the back of his pads, or someone's always ringing him around the neck.
Face
like,
washing him.
Yeah, like, see, what do you think he's actually doing out there that's always getting him to get beat down?
I honestly think, and I think he's honest, and he doesn't say anything out there. He's just stronger than everybody, and then just doesn't give up. So then, by the end of the altercation, the other person's just absolutely annoyed to the point where they're taking penalties, face wash, and frustrated. But I was hoping that he would tell me he has some great chirp or he does something. He just doesn't. I don't know, man. But the guy should be like he should endorse Clearasil or something, because he gets his face washed more often than a pubescent teenager, for sure.
Yeah, it's just insane. He's always in the middle of it. And I've always wondered why. So I was glad you asked him that, but I was surprised, almost disappointed to hear him say, I don't do anything. I don't say anything.
He looks so innocent out there.
Maybe
baby face.
That's why I asked you. I was like, what is it about your face that you think is so punchable? Like,
yeah, exactly.
What is it, man? I don't know. He didn't have an answer.
It's like in Step Brothers. I want to punch you just right in the face hole.
Yeah, exactly.
It's exactly like something to do with Eriksson Ek there. I have no idea.
Yeah.
But and we briefly met him at, he was doing that signing at Shields the other year or whatever. And we actually got that picture signed when he got an overtime goal, and just seems like the nicest dude. Super mellow, super calm. And granted, I think a lot of those hockey guys, even the ones that get really crazy on the ice, can be, kind of mellow outside of the game. But I mean, he was very mellow, like a guy that you would never see getting those kind of scrums, and he's always getting to a scrum. So he's doing something. It's like an alter ego or something that he cannot recall when he gets off the ice. Like, it's like he's blacking out, turning into like a werewolf or something, and just doesn't remember when the next day or when he gets off the ice. He's like, I don't do anything. So
the thing is he doesn't start these altercations. It's just that he doesn't, like, once he gains ground, he doesn't give it up. So I think, between the whistles, he's working so hard to gain ground that when he eventually gets it and the whistle blows, that the opposition's so mad that they lose their mind, and then he just doesn't give it back up. So once the whistle blows, he's not going to be like, all right, I'm going to turn around and go back to my bench. He holds his ground, and that's when people lose their mind. But like even Hartman said that with the whole Binnington thing, that it was Binnington that gave him the old bag tap, and it was Eriksson Ek he gave the bag tap to as Eriksson Ek was getting choked out.
Yeah.
He's in a rear naked choke, and he gets tapped in the bag, and that's I think that's ultimately what set the bench on fire, and what led to the rest of the melee and all the other shenanigans. But at least the rest of the crew's looking out for their dude. You know what I mean?
Yeah. Yeah, the Wild aren't the kind of team where someone gets messed with and, no one retaliates.
Well, I feel like at this point, too, it's a known thing that Ek is going to get shat on in some way during the game, and his teammates know that at this point.
He's a magnet.
He did something initially somewhere a couple years ago, because I was saying this at, like, in his first couple years here, like, he was I felt fairly innocent. He wasn't getting into a lot of scrums, and that's probably normal for new players. But it's just like 1 year, something happened where he was just involved in everything. So it's great.
Dude, I think that was the power play. So a lot of the reason that he catches all these now is because his role is net front power play.
Yeah. So,
and that's where all scrums seem to start, is whistle, net front, and he's always there. And over time, he's learned. I don't think when he broke into the league, he was even anywhere near as good as he is around the net, and in terms of jumping on loose pucks, retrievals, battling for position, screening, getting away from D-men. He's really refined all those skills, and then because of that's what is chapping everybody's ass.
Yeah. He seems to always be in the middle of that.
Well, Ryan, you yourself are a Stanley Cup champion. Congratulations if you weren't aware. But
yeah,
congrats.
Just a reminder.
You've obviously been around a Stanley Cup winning team. Do you think the Wild have what it takes this year? Do you think so?
Well, let's just go through it quick. What you need is good goaltending. Check, the Wild have that. The next thing you need, and if I'm thinking about the experience I had, was good defense, and for sure two pair that you trust wholeheartedly. And I think they have that, Spurgeon, Middleton, and then, anytime Brodeen's on the ice, I think everybody's comfortable. So you've got your guys that if you need to lean on them on the back end to shut things down, close out a tight game, boom, they're your dudes. Up front, I think that's likely where there's question mark. You've got your stud and Kaprizov, and the other thing, let's be honest, if you're going to win a cup, you need a stud, like a superstar teams. You go across, you've got Nathan McKinnon, whether it's Stamkos or Kucherov, you go down the list, Ovechkin, like you need your stud. The Wild finally have theirs. They were missing that for a long time. They finally have it. And McDavid's going to win a cup at some point, right? And I think you can look at Kirill Kaprizov and say that dude's going to win a cup at some point.
Oh, I thought you were referring to Sam Steele.
Yes.
Sam Steele hoist.
Maybe the first 2 months of the year. So they have that top line now. Well, can everybody else fill a role and find a way to win? I think the West is up for grabs this year. It seems like an exciting year in that regard, and anything can happen. So matchups are going to play a big role. If the Wild, I legitimately look at it. If the Wild can finish the year in the top spot in the Central, and they have to play Winnipeg or Seattle, and then it's Dallas, Colorado going toe-to-toe in the first round, and boom, all of a sudden you're like, man, I might have a path all the way to the final, the West final, that looks pretty good. Mm-hmm. And then who knows who's coming out of that other side. Then it comes down to a coin flip, 7 games, and see what we can do. The next thing you know, you're in a Stanley Cup final. Sounds easy, but yeah, I think the Wild and the way the West is set up, they've got a lot of the critical pieces you need to win a cup in place. Now they just need that other factor, which is a little bit of luck and some good matchups.
That's what I love to hear. I'm not sure if you heard about Bossman's bet, but you should tell him about that bet.
Yeah, so I'm going to shave my head if the Wild make it past the first round. Do you want to join me?
Shave your head if they make it past. I actually think I could do that. I don't know that I'm going to commit to that.
Yeah,
but I could do that.
Okay,
yeah, because the Bally's is off the air. We don't get the games past the first round, so theoretically nobody would have to see me
on camera for a while.
Okay.
Yeah,
I'll put you down as a maybe right now.
That's a good. I'm a strong maybe. A strong maybe because I'm looking for a change. The mullet's getting old. It's getting tired, man.
I mean, this is a good time of the year to shave your head too because it's getting warmer out. You know, that hot air, you sweat a lot more from the head. So
it's allergy season.
Yep, you don't want pollen getting
stuck in your hair. You sleep, and then it's in your face. And yeah, absolutely, you're right. It's probably best just to knock it down to the wood.
I don't know. You said 2 years ago the mullet was going to go, and here you are 2 years later.
That is true.
Still here. I mean, it's going to be obviously there forever.
Dude, maybe I have a hard time with commitment, right? Like I have been wanting to cut it. Legitimately, the only reason it's still around is because my wife likes it, and after over a decade of marriage, if she says it looks good, I'm going to trust her. So as soon as she gives me the okay, boom, it's gone.
Just throw a proposal out there. Hey, this podcast I just did, if the Wild make it past the first round, I committed to shave my head. Yeah. What if to tip the fence we threw a charity angle in there? There's got to be something we can do with charity with this, right? I know you need to have really long hair to donate it, but that's a thought.
That's a good one. The back might make it. That might hit the prerequisite. Yeah, we weigh some stuff on the sides of the top, but the back could maybe get there for sure.
For your top area that you're lacking in, you can have all the hair that I'm gonna have because I got by April. I think I'm gonna have a pretty good amount down there, and it'll be ready to go. Then second round, I'm going eyebrows. I don't know if you want to join me in that, but go west.
It's going completely hairless. At that point, you should just wax your entire body.
We're rolling into the Western Conference Finals looking like an alien if we get to that point. So I'll throw that one on your horizon.
There's nothing more weird looking than somebody without eyebrows. So I can't.
Yeah, he's committed to it.
People are gonna come up to me. They're gonna be like, what's wrong with you? Be like, oh, the Wild made it to the Western Conference Finals. You're like, what?
Yeah, I know, right? They made it to the Western Conference Finals. It's crazy, isn't it?
They're gonna be like, what does that mean? That's why you're hairless.
Listen, you're kind of representing what it would be, right? Like if we made the Western Conference Final, it's unfamiliar territory, it's foreign.
Yeah, let's get weird.
Let's get weird.
Right.
So
everybody should be watching it. Everybody be looking at you like, look at this guy, he's weird. Everybody should.
It's
It should
weird,
all
right?
eyes be on Wild. They're in the West Final.
Right.
It's weird all around. They're in the West Final.
It's not. Yeah, it's not weird. It's wild, man.
Yeah, you're right.
So,
Exactly.
Gotta throw
Well,
it.
on brand.
It's kind of like how you're going to end your podcast when the Wild hoist the cup. And
Right.
I'm just shaving all my hair. So it's like
Right.
tomato, right? Same thing.
Yeah. Drop the mic and walk off. Let's do it. Yeah, there you go.
Exactly.
Shave the
Same
eyebrows.
deal.
Be done with it.
Wasn't your podcast originally called Stanley on 7th? I was just wondering why the name change. Are you no longer a believer?
No longer a
so
believer.
I
No, I'm just talking.
I wanted to change it so because it's affiliated with the Wild now, you can't use the word Stanley in marketing materials. So we had to get rid of that name, but I wanted to call it Stanley with a silent P. So P Stanley, like Stanley, because you're not allowed to talk about it, and technically, like we would be talking about it, but I thought that would be the way to go, but that got vetoed.
Yeah, no loophole clause there in that one.
I don't know. It's not Stanley. It's Stanley.
Stanley.
But,
Stanley.
yeah.
You could have just spelt it Stanlie. Stanley.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like
the
the
person who
Marvel.
makes
Too
Marvel.
easy.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Stan Lee
it's
on
like,
7th.
yeah,
Then
whoops.
you have a bunch of like Marvel nerds coming across it thinking this is going to be about Marvel.
Stanley.
Yeah.
And you're interviewing fucking Ryan Reeves talking about kicking people's ass. Well, he is technically. Maybe you could put him in the Marvel universe.
Yeah.
Fucking superhero out there.
Speaking of Ryan Reeves, if there was a trophy, like an Art Ross trophy for fourth line guys who kick each other's asses, do you think Ryan Reeves would be the front runner right now?
Well, I would say he would until he just lost the biggest fight of his NHL career, and that was with a couple of smelling salts.
Yeah, that was a bad look.
Might be
It was so great, though. I don't know. I can't believe there's like a cartoon meme out there somewhere. It's like ninja knives going up his nostrils and just deleting his brain, because that's what it looked like happened when he took that whiff. But no, man, Reeves. Let's talk about that trade for a second, because the Wild were a little flat, and they were needing something. And Bill Guerin went out and made that trade, and boom! All of a sudden, it changed the trajectory of the season. A lot of the moves that Guerin has made have paid dividends, and quickly. And Ryan Reeves is another one. Like, just the attitude of the team has changed. Kaprizov and the protection that went alongside with it was almost secondary to just the total vibe around the club. So I think you'd probably have to put him up there in the podium of all-time tough guys in terms of role and helping a club win, for sure.
Yeah, I don't know if you saw, we made a graphic last night of the picture of him like just dying from those, and it said like undefeated. The Wild are undefeated since Ryan Reeves almost vomited from smelling salts. So we're 2-0 since that 2-0 since that happened, and counting. Tomorrow night's a big one, but that's a stat line if you need something on the broadcast, maybe between periods.
I dig it. Reeves likes to save his good stuff for those national broadcasts, so we'll try to get some quality stuff on there for Bally's. But I'm a little jealous in that regard. A lot of the good games lately have been poached by the national feeds, like Bennington, Flower mic'd up that whole fight, national game. Seattle, Boldy hat trick, national game. Like we should have a chat with some of these guys and say, hey, save it for the local broadcast.
Yeah,
for sure.
How mad were you when they didn't let Bennington and Fleury go?
Well, it makes sense to me in terms of the rules. I believe that the referee, like as soon as the helmet comes off nowadays, the linesmen jump in, and it's to prevent head injuries and stuff. And goaltenders, I mean, they're not skaters; they're not like strong on their skates, so they could at any point fall in an awkward way and hit their head, and that could be an ugly sight for the league too. If somehow they could have controlled that situation to where they knew that wouldn't be a problem, yeah, man, letting those guys go would have been all world. Like, think about that. That would have like made the season. Letting Fleury. Did you guys see too? Fleury's like been very like candid about saying, all right, I want a goal and a fight in my career now. He's chasing the fight.
Yeah.
Get it. And then it was like 2 games later, he tried for the open net.
Yeah.
Did you see that one?
We were in Vegas. Yeah, that was hilarious.
he wants his Gordie Howe hat trick.
Yeah, for his
He
career.
wants it.
Just
Yeah,
just
he wants it.
hammer them all in one game. Get an assist, 2 on maybe a 3-on-3.
So the new rules then, like technically goalie fights in general would be illegal since they'd have to take off their helmets before fighting?
Yeah, that's what I don't understand and they've kind of made these rules where goalies already get a penalty if somebody comes down and they'd have to take their helmets off. So I
Yeah.
think in some regards they're protecting the goalies and that rule because unless they're going to punch each other with their helmets on, it doesn't make sense. So
Yeah.
I don't know if there's like a clarification on that, but I do think that plays a role. And as soon as those buckets come off, the linesmen are trained to like say,
Step
all right,
in.
you're done.
Yeah.
Take care of yourself. We're not going to have a bloody mess on the ice.
When did they like add those rules? Because I remember growing up, even like 20 years ago, you'd see. I mean, it wasn't like a lot, but like you'd still see goalie fights. Now it's just non-existent.
Yeah, well, fighting in general is on its way
Yeah, I know.
out,
Sucks.
in terms of number of majors that each team has and guys get and the makeups of lineups. But it went to everybody wearing a visor, and that kind of took some of the tough guys out. And then all of a sudden it was guys would, because they don't want to have to punch a visor, you put your head on, because you could hide under your visor, to where guys would undo their strap and then they'd take each other's helmets
I
off.
remember that.
So then they made the rule where if you take your own helmet off, which I've done before in a fight, it's like all right, let's do this. That was a 2-minute penalty now. Guys started to take each other's helmets off, and then to combat that, that's when they say as soon as the helmet comes off, we're done. So they just want guys not to hit their head and have issues with it on the ice.
Yeah.
We did have a goalie fight earlier though in the AHL. Actually, that was only about a couple weeks ago, I think, or maybe about a month ago. But there was an AHL goalie fight.
So there's hope.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
good.
It'll happen one day. Probably not McIntyre or Wallstedt.
Bring it
but
back.
Maybe some of these other AHL goalies who have been around for a while might do it. But I guess we didn't have you for the Minnesotan Cup team this year. Some slight improvement. The high schoolers we lost to last year only beat us by one this year.
Yeah, they had to come back to do it too.
Yeah,
it was
we
intense.
fucked up.
We ran out of legs. Still went 0-3, but I would. No,
There was an improvement.
It was an improvement.
There was
Yeah.
a genuine improvement from last year, I would say.
What are the odds that we get you for next year?
Yeah, can we get a commitment now?
The hardest part is coming out of retirement again. So, like, how can Brett Favre come back and play in the
Yes.
NFL again? So,
Sure.
I hung him up. I've been out. It's been a couple years. Like, you guys tell me what's the shelf life on in terms of like a men's league, bar league tournament return? Is it there is no time limit on it? Like, you can be out a couple of years and jump right back in, or
First off, yes. And beer league, men's league, it doesn't matter. Two, are you saying you're retired from beer/men's league? You've hung them up from that too?
and it's mostly just based on schedule. So this year I used to skate on Monday night with guys. There's like a 9:00 skate, 9:30 skate here in White Bear. I didn't make it to 1 this year. So the only time I had my skates on competitively all year was for like the alumni game at Hockey Day. So the schedule's just gotten busy to where, man, it's like I'd love to keep playing, just doesn't work out. So yeah, I basically have to commit, be like Rocky, get back into shape, try to find a way to play at the Stanley Cup.
I think you'd be fine.
We'll just drop you off at a cabin up in Duluth somewhere, and then
a week before the tourney.
Yeah, you'll do like the log lifting thing while the other teams have the the Rocky IV reference.
No, not Duluth, Russia. Fuck it.
Yeah. I mean,
Kirill's regime.
There you go.
regimen.
Good, I cannot figure that out.
Maybe just be like, hey, sorry man, the only way to get back to the city is just to skate the river. I'd have to like skate some frozen river
that's
all the way back.
Yeah, that's not a bad idea. That just gets the legs going.
No breaks.
No breaks.
Kind of follow-up question. In the last few months, I've started playing goalie. If you had 10 shots on me, how many do you score?
Wow. From where?
Slot. We'll say slot.
Sure, slot. I started 2 months ago.
8, I would say.
Oh,
Is that
8?
fair?
Well, okay.
No,
2.
Okay. So this is you see
I
where
was
I'm
thinking
going
I'd
with
miss
this.
the net on a couple. Or hit the ball.
Yeah. or you'd try to go blocker and I'd beat you there probably.
No, that's not me saying I'm an elite shooter. I just, no offense, man. 2 weeks goaltending.
2 months. 2 months, and you've never seen my glove.
So what do you think it would be?
I think, how many would I save out of 10?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go 3.
Okay.
Oh,
one
wow.
more than
You
thought.
one up.
Yeah.
Carts.
I would say you could probably say for sure 2, for sure.
Okay. Well, now we got to test it out. So next year,
We're testing it out.
ODR season, we're gonna start a new series here. We're gonna do a shootout challenge. I think we're gonna get Garen to do it.
Alexis Pearson.
Yep. Jason
wanted to do it.
Zucker's in the mix, so we'll have to schedule one for you. Where the 10 shootout challenge on a guy who just started playing goalie.
No, hold on. Are we talking shootout or straight shots? I was thinking
That's
we're
right.
standing there.
So should we transition to shootout now and then?
Should we do 5, and 5?
Because if it's just straight shots, if it's a shootout, that makes it a little easier for the player,
Wait.
I think.
10 out of 10
I
on
guess
Jack then?
we haven't talked about it yet. Let's go shootout.
Let's just do
You
shootout.
think you're scoring 10 times?
If I was you, I would say, okay, you guys have to stay like above the hash marks, like, but south of the top of the circle. You ever play the rebound game in the end, like rebound game where there's a goalie and guys on each side, guys got to shoot for a rebound, and you jump on it, where that shot comes from, kind of. So it's like the slot,
Yeah.
but it's not quite top of the circles. It's not quite hash mark. It's like right in between those, but right center of the ice rink. Shoot from there 10 shots. What would you score? That's the way for the goaltender to do it, man. And yeah, I think you'd make 2 saves for sure.
2 saves. Okay.
Yeah, shootout.
A breakaway.
Yeah.
Shootout breakaway.
Would be
Yeah.
breakaway would be way harder for you to stop.
Yeah.
Way harder.
I'd get a poke in there though, probably one.
You get a poke
I'd
check.
Poke one of them out. Yeah.
You do spider legs.
Well, the poke check would work on me because I play with my head down, but those other guys are pretty skilled. They play with their head up. The poke wouldn't work, man.
All right. Well, like I said, we'll test it out. We got to come up with a format though. That's what I'm getting out of this. Is maybe 5 shots, 5 breakaways, and there's some sort of scoring system there. Okay.
We'll
you
develop
go.
it.
Yeah, we'll develop it. We'll get back to you on that.
Maybe throw in a couple slap shots just
Yeah. Sure.
from the
a
blue
couple
line
clap
or even
bombs.
or right from the slot. Screw it. Get really close.
Yeah.
Blast them.
Like there has to be at least one slapper, right? Like
Yeah.
You gotta.
I'm full right. Does that throw you off at all? Does that change your number?
You catch right?
Yeah.
No, it doesn't really throw me off. I don't
Okay,
think, but that opens up the top glove
Yeah.
for me because usually that'd be blocker, right? So
Right.
Uh-oh.
I actually think I would prefer that. That'd be fun. On
Really?
the left hand side, you'd be able to get the snipe block. You get to be able to snipe glove. Like all that
Yeah.
room up there.
Yep.
That'd be fun.
Yep.
Dingle
No,
snipe
it's-
Selly.
Yeah, that glove's a magnet though, man. I'm telling you. I wouldn't shoot that side.
Were you a catcher? You play baseball? Or were you a catcher?
First base in 2 years of beer league softball. Yeah.
There's some experience there.
But I did take quite a few, you guys can attest to this, quite a few wild throws at first,
And he snagged a couple of them.
first base.
Yeah.
I've even flashed a leather on one of
Yeah,
them.
you
We were
flashed a
losing by
couple
10.
leather.
We were losing by 10, but
Doesn't matter.
I did
And
a
that
windmill.
That first base glove is a lot like a goalie glove too. That extra padding, fingers
Yep.
look the same. Man, you might have a hot glove.
See?
You might.
See?
We'll have to test it.
We'll find out. I won't talk any more shit. We'll find out.
Hey, who do you got? Frozen Forest coming up. Who do you got?
Well, I don't want to have to root for the Gophers,
But
but
you have
they
to.
just seem they seem like they're the club, don't they?
Yes.
So if
Yes.
I'm placing a bet, it's the Gophers. Who does my heart want to win? Anybody but the Gophers, and that's only because I played Mankato and
Well-
we couldn't beat the Gophers, so it's tough to see them win. But they seem to be the best team, and as long as they played their game, they should do all right.
I love the U of M Boston University matchup. That's just fucking
Old school hockey,
school
right?
hockey right there. East Coast, Midwest, just a brawl.
Well, that's when it used to
Midwest.
be like WCHA versus the CCHA, and then it was Hockey East, and those were kind of the 3 powerhouses in college hockey. And it seemed like the national tournament came down to who came out of the WCHA and who came out of Hockey East. Those 2 teams would go at it, and it always seemed like it was BU, BC, then it would be the Gophers or North Dakota, Wisconsin, somebody like that. But that seems like an original 6 college matchup, doesn't it?
Yeah.
Like Gophers versus BU.
Yeah. Who would you guys say though is team of destiny? Is that still the Gophers?
Of this
Who
tournament coming up.
who does it feel like?
Cooley, Snuggie, and
Quinnipiac, team
And
of
Nyes?
destiny.
I think it's when the Gophers lost the Big Ten championship. I just felt like they weren't going to lose another game after.
Yeah.
because that was very frustrating for them. They lost it to Michigan, so it could be a rematch though.
And I would love to see just anyone beat Fantelli out of the Fantilli out of the.
Yeah.
Did you guys see like when he had the press conference between the third period and overtime? How he was like, I think the way we're playing right now, there's no one in the country who can compete with us. And I'm like, you're in overtime. There's a team that can compete with you, and you're playing against them. You still have to win. Like, I would just love to see them get fist pumped. But also though, like Fantilli's probably going to go second overall, so he's got the cockiness of an NHLer already. But God, whoever could beat them, I'd love to see it.
So you don't care who wins. You just want Fantilli to lose first round.
Yep. Yeah, by like a lot too, by like 7, so that I can just tweet that clip back out and be like, "There's a team that can compete with you right there."
Quinnipiac.
What seed was Quinnipiac to start the tournament off? Do you guys know?
I think they're a 1.
Oh, they are a 1?
I think 3rd overall.
Yeah.
But they were a 1 seed in their 4-team region, so they're pretty solid.
So they're favored in that game, like technically, like they have home ice, so they would be.
We could look it up.
They're favorite. They're favorites over Michigan right now. They were number 2 seed overall.
Okay.
They're good.
Team of Destiny.
Quinnipiac University.
They're looking for blood after UND beat them in 2016. Brock Besser's team.
You're right. They were in that national natty champ there. Well, does that mean that if Quinnipiac beats Michigan and it's them against the Gophers, assuming the Gophers do beat BU, does that mean you're going to root for Quinnipiac?
I mean, I'm a UND hockey fan. I can't root for the Gophers.
Carts, would you still root for Quinnipiac in that case? Or to be Gophers?
Yeah, I would.
Oh, yeah. Damn it.
I would. One of the greatest guys I played with, Sam Annis, was from Quinnipiac.
Oh, yeah.
And solid dude. He gave a lot of credit to the program. So as long as the program produces good quality people like that, I can root for him.
Hey, and another reason Gophers might be Team of Destiny, it's exactly 20 years since they won their last one,
Yep,
right?
03.
Yeah, I think that could they have that going for them.
They got to win. They just got to fucking win. I mean, I'm a fan of the Gophers, obviously, here. It hasn't been obvious, but I haven't seen a team consciously win, or I haven't been conscious enough to see a team win a championship. They won in 02, 03, but like to me, when I was 6, 7 years old, I didn't know what was going on. I don't know. I probably thought it was a mite hockey game. I don't know.
You can't flip a car at that age either.
No, I can't. But I can now at this age. So
he's got muscles now.
May or may not. Allegedly, if you see a car flipping dinky on either that Thursday or if they make it to the championship that Saturday, it may or may not be me.
Jake, we can help you flip your own car. We should flip your car.
My truck?
Yeah, like that way, because you always see those videos and you're like, oh, I feel bad for the person whose car got flipped in the riot, whereas we can just be like, oh, it's his, so it's fine.
Yeah. You got good insurance.
Yeah.
Yeah. But is it from Minnesota National Championship Insurance?
Yeah, I don't know if that's covered in your plan.
That's not covered at all.
Well, Kurtz, I know you probably got to get going. It's getting a little later, but I had one final question for you just with your awesome podcast, Wild on 7th, we've talked about. Who would you say of all the players and guests you've had on has been your favorite so far?
Gosh, good question. I was dying with John Merrill because that dude is just like an enigma. He's funny. Jake Middleton, he's a character too. It was actually kind of fun having Zuki on because he's sneaky cool too, but he kind of lets you in a little bit and then slams the door on you at the same time. Like you can figure a few things out about him, and he's like, "That's enough, pal. No more asking."
Yeah.
Kind of thing. But Johnny Merrill, I think, is probably my favorite dude. When he was talking about his basketball game and how it compares to some other people's, I was rolling, dude. So John Merrill's like just a dude that you could hang out with all the time. Doesn't matter the setting. Could be at a game, at a bar, on the course, at a barbecue, and you just have a great time with that guy. So Johnny Merrill.
He blends right in too. Like you would, if you saw him in a crowd, you would just think like, oh yeah, that guy. Like fixes cars and smokes cigarettes.
He looks like a construction worker, just like Middleton.
Yeah.
Maybe plays in a beer league.
Drinks beers at the local watering hole on the weekends. Like you'd never look at him and think, oh, that's like a pro athlete making millions of dollars. Like it's crazy. Those are always my favorite players.
Right. No, he's the best, and so I'm slightly biased too because I played with him in Jersey his rookie year, so we got to know each other a little bit. We sat by each other on the bird, but I've always appreciated him. So he's probably my favorite guest, man. I'd have him on every week if I could.
Yeah,
gotta love Mary. I have one more question. So have you snuck in any, or have you snuck in any like funny or goofy one-liners this year during any of the games, color commentating, anything, or any favorite one-liners you've maybe put out?
Boy, I don't know that I have a favorite one, but if you guys want, give me some ammo. I always try to sneak in some inside jokes every once in a while. The people out there listening or something, you got to say this word at some point during the broadcast, or you've got to do this. And, so that's kind of fun, but I don't have any like favorite one-liners. No,
we'll have to get back to you on that. We could load you with some funny ammunition.
We could definitely think of more, but I'm thinking of like some off the top of my head, like keeping the chili hot. Or gotta get the broccoli steaming.
Tim Brewster references.
Well, broccoli steaming's just not even Tim Brewster, but it's probably something he would say. Yep. So keep the chili hot as Tim Brewster.
Weren't you were color commentator at the U for a while? Wouldn't you do shit like that?
Yeah. So the broccoli steaming is something I actually put into a broadcast. So I announced women's hockey at the U, and one of our producers would come up to me every fucking game. Hey, you got to throw this line in there. I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to throw it in there. And one of them was you got to keep the asparagus and broccoli brewing. What? And I threw it in there at some point. I'm like, when something was brewing, I'm like, yeah, you got to keep the broccoli steaming. Yeah. Got to keep the asparagus green.
I actually thought of one. Like so I don't. This was like a popular phrase in golf in like the mid 2000s. I don't know if you guys have ever heard this, but when Tiger Woods would hit a tee shot, someone would yell really loud, "Light the candle!" So like maybe if Boldy is like a clap bomb and it goes in, Boldy really just lit the candle on that one, put it right in the back of the net. That could be something.
Like taking candy away from a baby. You throw that in there. I think you should try lit the candle.
He lit the candle.
Lit the candle.
He really lit the candle on that one.
Keep the chili hot. Get the broccoli steaming.
There you go. You don't want to overload them.
Those are 3 for now. You should try to throw those in the next broadcast. All 3.
Okay. Keep the chili hot. If we can get all 3 in, that would be the equivalent of a Gordie Howe hat trick.
Yes, that would be your broadcasting hat trick right there.
Well, if you just say keeping the chili hot or whatever, we'll donate $100 to the charity of your choice. So how about you do that?
Yep.
That'd be unreal.
That's great. Does pregame? So what can we sneak one in pregame show, the regular show, and postgame show? Like what constitutes a game?
Well, so actually,
it just has to be from the first whistle to the last whistle.
I think that's fair.
Yeah. During
the game
at some point.
Yes.
Okay.
So keep the
a little
chili
easier in like the pregame show to be like, yeah, he's just been keeping the broccoli hot, broccoli steamed.
Imagine LaPanta sitting there and he stares at you. No, we're from Arby's. Goodness.
Panther would probably be like, "Oh, funny! I steamed broccoli on Sunday for my dinner."
Yeah. It was like one of 29 exotic vegetables that went into my salad.
And you go into and you both just have a deep conversation about vegetables because LaPanta loves cooking.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah.
That'd be great.
Yeah, exactly.
All right. Well, your next game, we'll be listening. Light the candle. Keep the chili hot. Keep the broccoli steaming.
The broccoli steaming.
All right.
Yeah.
All right. Keep the broccoli steaming.
Goodness.
All right. Well, Kurtz, we always do the rapid fire. We've switched up all the questions though, so this will be your third rapid fire. Totally.
All right, let's rip it.
All right. First one, favorite hockey player growing up?
Cam Neely.
Who would win in a fight, you or Bill Guerin?
Billy G, sadly.
That's more of a rhetorical question.
He would ask that question back, by the way.
Yeah, he'd be like,
who would win in a fight?
Who would win in a fight?
Who would win a fight?
You would. I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say that. Would you rather always talk like Yoda or always breathe like Darth Vader?
Probably talk like Yoda.
If you had a boat, what would you name it?
SS tuna.
Really basic? Why not just carts?
Yeah, Just
me out there just slaying the tuna.
Yeah.
Favorite sport besides hockey?
Golf.
Absolutely.
That's later in life though. Like if you were to ask like a 10-year-old Ryan, it probably would have been like baseball.
Sure. Yeah. If you were given an all expenses paid trip to North Dakota, would you take it?
For sure. I don't know if you know this. I love farming, so like I almost exclusively watch farming videos on YouTube for entertainment. Like when I get off the phone, that's what I'm going to unwind with tonight. It's like a farming video. Yeah.
Really? Dude, do you ever play the farming simulator?
Yeah.
No.
There's a video game. I think you can get it on the computer too. It's like a combine simulator. You can just
Every year they have a new one.
Yep.
Farming Simulator 2023 is out right now if you wanted to be a
they
farmer.
sell it at
Yep.
Walmart. Yeah.
You combine your crops, you buy your seeds, you do
Yep.
all of that.
Grow corn,
Yeah.
whatever.
Yep.
Soybeans, the whole works.
Dude, that's good but I want to go all in. I want cattle, and then
Okay.
I want like corn and grain, and then you use the grain to feed your cattle,
Yeah.
but then you sell some of it. So you're a cattle dude, so you're busy all the time. I don't know why I want that, but anyways.
I was
sorry.
gonna
I think
say,
my-
and it also has massive financial implications too if it doesn't. If it's not going well.
Dude, my grandpa owns 1,000 acres. He's a dairy farmer in South Dakota, and just the value of the land alone is crazy.
Yeah, it's nuts. If your laptop could speak, what would it say?
Use me.
Yeah. Does it just collect dust? Are you not a computer guy?
Actually, what it would say is take it easy on the N key. I've broken the N key. I don't know if I smashed it or what it is, but every time I hit N, like 3 N's pop up. You can see any
Something
Word
about
document
that.
I try to type. It's oh man, it's
It might be-
crazy. But
it
it'd
might
probably
be-
say take it easy on the N key.
Yeah, you gotta peel it up with like a screwdriver and then just reattach it.
Really, with a Mac, you can do that stuff. You know what
Oh
you're
yeah, yeah. I wear glasses.
I
You
was-
should trust me about everything.
doing? Computer related.
Yeah. No. Google it. You can. I think you just peel it up with a keyboard or with a screwdriver, and then you like maybe wash it. I don't know if you got like gum in there or something. I don't know. Could be
Yeah.
sticky.
Someone
Next
about
thing
the
you're gonna tell me is that you just mix Dawn soap with water, pour it all over your keyboard. That should
Yeah.
solve it.
Yeah. Hey, I also got this killer NFT that you should pay me for.
Yeah.
All right. What is your least favorite food?
Probably milk.
You don't like milk?
I don't know. It just upsets my stomach, so I can't drink it. Right? I don't
Lactose
know.
intolerant.
I don't like have like foods that I like dislike eating. If just milk makes me like instantly not feel good, it's like right to the restroom. So avoid at all costs.
Well, Karts, that's probably why you lost a fight to Marcus Foligno. You didn't have strong bones.
That's right.
Didn't have the
bird bones,
calcium.
osteoporosis.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. Trust me, I know.
Yeah. Is a hot dog a sandwich?
No.
Would you rather be trapped in an elevator with Anthony LaPanta or Kevin Fallness?
Probably Fallness for sure. I'm trapped in a broadcast booth with Panther enough, so I know what that would actually be like. I've got hope for Kevin Fallness.
Yeah.
Awesome.
Yeah, that makes sense. Well, yeah, Kart's always a blast with you. Make sure to check out his podcast too, Wild on 7th. They have a lot of the players on and some other unique guests too. I did listen to the Flower episode too, and that was another one where it felt like you were peeling back the onion, and then he was kind of like, I don't want to talk about that. Some of his pranks, but
Right. He stuck to the like deny admirably throughout that podcast. Like, he wasn't going to admit having done any of it when everybody knew that he did. But
Yeah.
that was fun.
But then again, if he was just so open about it, that would take away his whole like persona about it.
Mystique,
Like,
yeah.
like he's mysterious. Like he'll never admit to it. So how do you know it was really him? Kind of thing. But yeah. Well, thanks so much, Karts, for joining us. Seriously,
I
we
think
appreciate
we
it.
played right. Yeah.
Oh, there we go.
Yeah.
We were
Well, thanks for
off.
having me, dudes. Yeah, this is it's always fun. So appreciate you taking the time and giving me the invite. Good luck. I'll say, I suppose, go Gophers for those of you Gopher fans.
Go Gophers.
But yeah, so
Sweet.
Appreciate it.
Well, let's keep in touch for sure. Cam, Josie, and I showed up in our tracksuits that we bought for the Minnesotan Cup. The coaching staff makes us look like 70s Russian gangsters. The flight attendant on the way to Los Angeles, which is where we connected, he was actually this fucking awesome dude, but he just kept roasting us. Like, he would get on the speaker and would say,
Yossi Berfasten, I need a big round of applause for 3 gentlemen right here. They're completing their first flight today. They just turned 21.
and he just kept grilling us about the tracksuits. And even the pilot started grilling us about the tracksuits. Like, one of them came out, he was about to take a piss, and he like looks at us. I was like the captain. He goes, "What's with the tracksuits?" I go, "Czechoslovakian hockey team." And he goes, "Oh, cool." And then he like closes the door, and like you could tell he could hear this flight attendant fucking roasting us over the speaker. There's 4 or 5 occasions this guy probably grilled us for the tracks. All right, folks, welcome back to It's a Bit. Always electric with our friend Ryan Carter. And just to end the show on a fun note, we're going to bring back an old segment, the Wheel of Doom. So we have a list here of 10 different punishments, and really all you do is each person spins the wheel twice throughout a series of time here, and whatever they land on, they just have to do.
And we'll do it like by round, so I'll go, you
Okay.
can go, Jay can go, and then we'll do that again.
Yeah, let's do it.
There's also 8 of them are shitty things, and 2 of them, I guess, are
Oh,
technically
yeah,
good
so
things.
two are good things.
Yes.
Love that.
So
Gotta
you know,
have a little positivity.
It's
in
not
it.
all doom in our life. Yes,
Yeah,
exactly.
Yeah. All right, so you're spinning first?
Yeah, I can go first here. And we're spinning.
Uh-oh.
What number is it? Number 3.
Number 3, baby.
Collect $10 from everyone else.
Uh-oh. What do we, Venmo you?
No, we can just do this after. But
Okay.
yes.
Oh, yeah, we owe you
Now
$10.
Now we owe you $10. Fucking
Boom.
A.
Gosh, that was like one of the 2 good ones. Hell yeah.
All right, so me next.
Shit.
Yes.
God damn it.
I wish that they would. I guess no. I like that we had the option to get it again. So here we go.
Oh, you got 3 again. 4.
Number 5.
Let the guys craft and post a tweet on your account that needs to stay up for at least 24 hours.
Okay, Jake. What's something that Jack would never tweet?
Um,
No. Can we? Can we tweet from your account? I'm just gonna say it. The Vikings are better than the Colts. Can we tweet that from your account?
You can do whatever you want.
Okay.
Here.
Do you think that would be a good one, Jake, or do you have anything else we could do instead?
I'm trying to think.
You guys take your time. This is
important.
This is important.
I am no longer a Colts fan. I am now a Vikings
I
fan.
think announcement in all caps with a colon. Yeah,
Yep.
okay, I got
Yep.
this here. Okay.
That's what I am no longer a Viking. Yeah. I'm no longer a Colts fan.
You at least have to provide a reason, though. You should say like, if they don't get Lamar Jackson, because it's most likely not going to happen.
Well, no, because no, we can craft this tweet. I mean, that's a good
You
reason.
can craft this tweet.
But we can say I'm no longer a Colts fan. I am just a ride or die with Kirk Cousins. He's not on the Colts, so I don't know, something like that. Or maybe we could do the Lamar Jackson bit.
You could. You know what? You could pick a really shitty team and say I'm a fan of that now.
What do we think, Jake?
I'm already a second favorite
Yes,
Vikings
yes.
fan, so this is gonna muddy it up.
I guess would be another team. The Tennessee Titans. Well, they're not a shitty team. Washington Commanders.
I'm no longer
Carolina
a Colts
Panthers.
fan.
I am joining the command wagon.
No. Keep pounding.
Hashtag keep pounding.
That's the Panthers.
I ride or die with Frank Reich.
Yep.
Frank Reich is my guy.
Yeah, that's right. I found I was just a fan of Frank Reich.
That's not bad. You guys could have taken that anywhere you wanted.
We're not. REICH?
Yeah.
I think so.
Sounds,
Okay.
That sounds German enough.
Hashtag keep pounding.
I'm not talking about the third one.
I love their hashtag keep pounding.
Or did you send it yet?
No, I have here, Jake. I'll let you do the final.
I was gonna
tweet
say
here.
you could also say Marc-Andre Fleury sucks.
Yeah, I was gonna. Yeah, that was my original thought, but I still like this.
You
one,
like this one going? Okay, announcement.
You can craft it or do whatever.
I'm
else
no
you want,
longer a Colts fan. I am now a hardcore Panthers fan. I ride or die with Frank Reich. Hashtag keep pounding.
That hashtag is just the funniest part of the whole thing.
Is that actually their hashtag?
Yeah, keep pounding.
Keep
Yeah, I
pounding.
don't think they have the little icons that show
Yeah.
up yet.
Okay.
Yeah, they only because
That's
the Vikings don't have them right now too because they have to pay
I'm now a
for it.
hardcore Panthers fan. I ride or die with Frank Reich.
All right.
There
Should
we
we
go.
tweet it?
Yeah, sure.
Jack can
20
remove it 24 hours from now, or he can clarify it 24 hours from now. It's
Yep.
all up to him.
No explanation.
We'll see
All
what
right.
happens.
All right, there we
That's
go.
funny. That affects Jack the most because he
Hey.
has by far the most
Hey,
followers.
we got the
Yep.
first overall pick. Hashtag keep pounding.
Yep.
Okay, JJ, are you ready?
All right,
Yes.
Jake.
And we're off.
Uh-oh. I might not be able to see until you announce.
Should have thrown an edible on here just in
I
case.
know,
Nope.
but Jake would have killed himself. Okay.
I probably would have.
7.
Number 7.
Pay $5 to everyone else. I am out money.
Nice.
I'm out 15
You're
bucks just
minus
tonight.
15 right now. That's hilarious.
I'm down 15 just
All right.
tonight.
No one's had to do anything absolutely terrible.
This is
there
like-
are
like
some
sports
bad
betting
things
for me.
on here.
Well, I guess we're saving it for this round, right?
Yeah,
So
last,
here,
one
here
more
you go.
spin.
This one's for me.
Yeah, Jake, you just bet $15 on nobody. You're just
Number
giving money away.
8.
Eat a moonshine cherry.
Okay.
Ooh.
No, see that. Okay, I'm not gonna lie. It sounds good, You guys, if you don't roll this, you should try one after. They are disgusting.
Oh yeah, I bet. I don't.
they're soaked in moonshine?
It's soaked in moonshine, but like you don't taste cherry at all. All you taste.
And
is
I don't.
the-
I don't even like cherries, so this is extra
See,
terrible.
I love cherries, so maybe they would actually be pretty
It's
good.
basically like dousing fruit in hand sanitizer.
Smell it. That's literally what it smells like. A hand sanitizer cherry.
Yeah, that smells like chemicals.
Oh yeah.
I mean, moonshine is essentially chemicals.
Yeah, I mean, remember
With the cherry?
during Prohibition, they used to put like poisonous like chemicals like in the stuff they'd use for moonshine. People go blind and shit like that.
Oh, yeah.
you know?
Yeah. Desperate,
Desperate
Like,
times.
hey, just get some of that shit that we use to clean the floors and just throw it in a bottle. We'll just drink that.
Eat more of them. We're gonna finish that jar tonight.
Oh, we could, but wow, that's disgusting.
Oh boy.
But it's a cherry. It's good.
Yeah. In the end, it's a cherry.
Yeah, at the end of the
Okay.
day. All
All
right.
right.
One more spin for me.
For Jackarino.
Come on.
A Jackarino
Number 3.
cherry.
I want more money. I need more money after this fucking Columbus game.
I thought you were gonna tweet again from your
Sick.
account.
Shot of apple cider vinegar.
Oh God.
Now, if
Okay.
I'm not mistaken, people use this stuff to diet.
They do. For Crohn's disease, I've actually used this.
Oh my God.
I would take a shot every night. You mix it with honey and water to help with inflammation and stuff
Okay.
like that.
I probably got some of that going on.
Yeah, I'm not gonna lie. It's probably worse than drinking this moonshine.
Really?
Yeah. So you can take.
Looks like pea
you
water.
have water down here, Jack, or something?
Yeah.
You might want to chase.
Really?
Yeah, it's not
chase,
good.
chase it with water?
Apple
You're
cider
just
vinegar.
gonna want something to drink afterwards. 'cause
It's that
not,
bad?
Yeah, you'll see.
It
It's
does-
raw, unfiltered.
It does. There's shit floating around in it.
Yeah, it's live. It's just like good probiotics in there.
What do you mean live? Like there's.
It's live
Living
bacteria.
organisms.
Oh.
Like in yogurt, stuff like that.
Oh,
You know.
God.
Like parasites going into your body.
Yeah.
It's tapeworms.
So you're
Yes.
telling me this apple cider vinegar is not apple juice?
Yeah, I don't believe so.
Because this looks like a 40 of apple juice, which I could house in a minute. All right, here we go.
More.
Oh.
I wanted to see more.
That's worse than normal vinegar, isn't it?
Oh.
You know, I
Yeah,
can't.
you get it
If
away
I had to
from
drink it, I couldn't say I can compare it to vinegar because I don't know if I've actually drank vinegar.
You've had like salt and vinegar chips.
Oh
last
yeah, for
few
sure.
hours.
Yeah.
Any of that?
Yeah, there's not much left, but
Thank
there's
you.
something. I told you need a chaser after that, man.
That is disgusting.
Yes.
It almost looks like you went into a Biffy or something and put that in the toilet. and
does.
Filled it up.
Yeah, it looks like it's a glass jar full of diarrhea.
Yeah.
People will use
Well, there's
this
living bacteria.
like naturalists who don't like using like other chemicals. They use this for heartburn.
Really?
Yeah.
Does it work though?
It cuts down on the acid or whatever, you know.
I'm sure it's organic, raw, unfiltered.
It's from-
Cider vinegar
And
for fast, effective relief.
yes, you want to get the one that says with the mother.
I was gonna
too.
say, what about the one with the
mother.
father?
No, not
doesn't
stay,
exist.
stay away from the father.
That's Russian, fatherland.
The father.
Okay, JJ, you ready for the last spin here,
German.
buddy?
Yes.
And we're off.
Oh, you have to pay off my truck. That sucks.
Number
5.
2-minute wall sit.
Oh no, it went to 6 actually, slowly but surely.
I have a shot of apple cider vinegar
Yes,
as well.
yes,
So now you have to do
I would
it.
have much rather have done the wall sit.
I still have an aftertaste of it.
Oh goodness gracious.
No, I want to see you do more, Jake.
Oh, I might.
He might just drink. He might just.
Look at this fucking couple on the.
Might just slam. He might just slam
It's
the
the
fucking
Bragg
bottle.
family, bro. They make the product.
Pioneer
Dude,
Hulk
honestly,
Crusaders.
fuck them.
Fuck them. Can I shake it?
That's not
It
gonna
might
help.
explode, but yeah, no,
Oh,
you're good.
oh,
No,
shit.
yeah, you're fine.
It's like a science
not.
experiment.
Yeah.
All right, I got
Baking
my
soda.
water. I got baking soda. I can smell it. Oh my goodness. Bottoms up.
Bottoms up. You barely reacted. Okay, now it's coming. Some tears are coming down now. There we go.
Yeah, no, it's
It's not tasty.
no, it's not.
Yeah,
I can taste
Look at all the stuff in the bottom.
I can taste some of the vinegar. I can see why you had to mix like honey and shit with it, but
Yeah.
yeah, that
It tastes nothing like apple cider.
No, it's
That's-
false advertising.
That's false
nope,
advertising.
No, it's like someone took their sweaty socks and just dipped it in water and
That's
soaked it in there
so.
for
Yeah,
a while.
when they say it's apple.
Oh my goodness.
Apple cider flavored. It's kind of like when Johnson & Johnson puts the no tears guarantee on their Band-Aids. It's like,
bullshit.
yeah, I'm going to cry.
Here, so do you guys agree with this? Raw apple cider vinegar is full of zesty natural goodness and contains the amazing mother of vinegar, which occurs naturally as connected strand-like chains of protein enzymes molecules.
So
There's there's new cells in there. I'm going to develop a superpower.
Someone essentially vomited in a liquid, and they put that in a jar.
Yep.
That's what that is.
Yep. Dips some socks in there, and there you have it. No, but someone's going to get superpowers now.
Yep.
It does not have the best aftertaste at all.
It doesn't have the best normal taste.
It
doesn't.
There's nothing. The only part of it that's enjoying is taking the cap off.
Dude, you know what'd be a challenge? Would just be trying to drink that whole bottle, like some
24 hours,
like
or
LA
something?
Beast shit.
Oh my god.
Oh, dude, that would be.
You have 24 hours to finish this whole
Mr.
bottle of
Beast.
apple cider vinegar.
I have 24 hours to finish this apple cider vinegar, and if I do it, I will blah 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 plant 10,000 trees.
And if I don't do it, I'm going to let this school full of children beat me up.
Yeah.
Like, that's...
I'm going to kill myself. No, I'm not.
You're not?
No.
Oh,
Oh, that would have been a spectacle.
All right. Well,
that was number 6 on the wheel. Just kidding.
Yeah. All right. Well, that's just about another episode of It's a Bit, folks. Let us know if you like the Wheel of Death. We'll definitely expand it out. Maybe. I know we've done it around the house for terrible chores, so might have to
Wheel of Doom.
Might have to keep that shit going.
True. And normally we do this segment with Cam here, so it'd be a 4th person, so it would be a little longer and stuff as well.
And more entertaining with Cameron.
Can
you imagine Cam trying to drink that?
No, I can't. I have a palate of a 4th grader. I can't.
I mean, yeah. Well, that's what I'm saying is like we struggled to drink that. We're fine with not super picky with food and drinks, and that was still a struggle. Cam, who like doesn't like pickles or whatever, or doesn't like anything else beyond chicken tenders and fries. Sorry, Cam, he's gonna be editing this, but that would be a struggle for someone like him.
Yeah, he missed out, but he'll be here for the next one. But like I said, folks, that just about does it. Make sure to get our Jared Spurgino Fanatics t-shirt on our website, 10ktakesmn.com/shop. You can only get it until this Friday at noon, so make sure to get your Spurgino shirt before then. Also, make sure to follow all of our socials, 10K Takes. Got a lot of awesome stuff coming up with, like we said, the Wild and Wolves playoffs on the horizon.
We redesigned our website recently.
We
you
did.
Go to 10ktakesmn.com. You have all our great blogs, and just like Jack said, we have our whole store on there.
Yep, and if the Wild make it past the first round, I'm losing the hair. Just as a reminder,
everywhere.
Gotta keep. Yep. Well,
chest back.
I remember when you wrote the blog for it, like the Wild were kind of mid at the time, but like they've been turning it on lately, and I'm actually feeling like they're gonna do it.
I think
they're
they might
get past the first round.
I saw one of those wheels that predicts each.
Oh, yep.
Each percentage of them making it.
Yep.
And I think they had us at 68 for round 1.
Didn't pass the first round.
Which is higher than normal.
Which, in my mind, I feel like a soft 26, just based on the past.
If they play anyone in the Central, I will be terrified. I really do think if they end up winning the division, they have to play like Seattle. I think we can. Come on, I think you can't beat a second-year team.
If the season ended today, wouldn't we be playing Colorado?
No, we're still. I think we would play Seattle.
Yeah. Oh, okay. That would be very
if it
preferable.
Ended, as of right now, in this moment, we're recording this. It could definitely change by come tomorrow, Wednesday.
Yep. But also make sure to follow our socials because we're going to be dropping some more Wild merch in anticipation of the playoffs. But make sure to also listen to all of our other podcasts. You can just go to our website, 10ktakesmn.com/listen, and to read the blogs on there. Like we said, it's been all redesigned, so it all looks super good. But that's another episode of It's a Bit, folks. Thanks so much for listening, and we'll see you next time.